Kempire is brought to you by
'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. It is officially the holiday seasons here over at the Kempire podcast, and I'm heading to London. So excited for our London Kempire After Dark live experience because that is where the idea was sparked and talked about. So December 8th, we will bring the Kempire After Dark live experience to Neon 194. So shout out to those of you that have booked tickets to come see the show. And when I say tickets, I mean airplane tickets. But shout out to all of you in London that will be coming to our Kempire After Dark live experience. I can't wait to talk about the Diddler. I can't wait to talk about Jay-Z. I can't wait to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac and Beverly Hills and so much more. You just never know what is going to be said at these shows. LA, we talked a lot about the Diddy story and a lot of people had their own tea. So I'm looking forward to see what London has to offer in that regard. So stay tuned for that. And then we're coming back to Washington, D.C. on January 24th. And then New York City, we're coming back in February. We haven't announced the date just yet. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you have all of your notifications on. But first, London, you're up next. We are coming December 8th. Get your tickets available right now in the episode notes.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Hollywood, California. I was just there. Oh, I got distracted. I was busy talking to TikTok, getting ready. What's going on, everyone? Let me know where you're watching from. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I just rewatched it. I also watched the after show, and if you're not watching the after show, it is quite interesting to watch, and I have to say, I really do enjoy seeing Garcel, Sutton, and Jennifer Tilly. I know we look at Jennifer Tilly sort of as this light, bubbly, fun personality, but she is so grounded. She makes so much sense during the after show. And she also spills a little tea in regards to what the streets have been talking about when it comes to the rest of these women. She's a good fit. And I understand now why her and Sutton are friends. And now I love this trifecta that we're getting on the after show. And look, I'm just going to say this as a disclaimer. I don't know if I've been watching reality TV too long or I've been reviewing reality TV too long, or reality TV has just become so pre-produced that I'm so intuitive that I can sense the fakeness of it all. You guys will let me know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to speak my truth. Okay, Dorit? I'm going to speak my truth because at the end of the day, this is my platform and this is my review. And you guys are here for my truth telling, okay? All right? I say all that to say, happy early Thanksgiving, if you celebrate. Happy holiday season here on the channel. As you can see, we already started, doing all the things behind me. A little, for those that are listening, you can watch this also on YouTube. And for those that are watching, you can also listen and take us on the go by downloading the Kempire podcast. So today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is sponsored by our friends over at Uncommon Goods. If you're looking for a unique gift that not everyone's going to have or has gotten before, this is a great opportunity to check out our partner today for today's live recap. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and it's exactly what I wanted feeling. They scour the globe for original, handmade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. As you know, I've already gotten a little something from them. I might be getting friends and family gifts from Uncommon Goods as well, and I know you want a gift, right? Or you want a discount, okay? That will be your gift, all right? To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Kempire. uncommongoods.com/Kempire. That's uncommongoods.com/Kempire for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. More information on Uncommon Goods will be available in the description. All right. Where's everyone watching from? How's everyone doing today? What are your plans? Where are you going? What? I want to know. I actually love this time of the year. I love the fact that people are going to see their families and do like I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so my mother would cook a Thanksgiving meal, but we weren't gathering around the table saying, "This is what I'm thankful for." No, we weren't doing that. Okay, it was a day off. We didn't do anything for Thanksgiving. Okay, since I've lived on my own, my traditions for Thanksgiving have varied. I would really go and do Thanksgiving at a friend's home. As you know, the last couple of years I've been traveling, and I would go to my friend's home for Thanksgiving. This year I couldn't do it because, as you know, I'm going to London in about a week. Okay, so the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London on December 8th. December 8th, go get your tickets. We're working on something else, London, so stay tuned for those details. But go get your tickets if you haven't already. Let's sell out that show. And then I'm coming back here to the United States for our Kempire After Dark live experience in Washington, D.C. That is on January 24th of 2025. New York City, stay tuned. We will hopefully be able to announce that date soon. Okay? But that will be early next year as well. All right, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. Make sure you're following us on social media, including Blue Sky. I'm over at Blue Sky at TheKempire. For those that don't know, I'm there. I'm posting there more than I'm posting on Twitter anymore, even though we're streaming right now on Twitter. Hey, Twitter. Hey, Twitch. All right. Anyways, so Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Where do we begin? Well, we'll begin where we ended last week, and that was with Dorit and Kyle having an argument about where their friendship went wrong. And I already told you I am Team Dorit on this. I'm never Team anyone. But if I had to pick a team, I am Team Dorit because Kyle and her excuses as to why she has issues with Dorit make no sense. They make no sense. And she keeps moving the goalposts in regards to what she's really mad about. And she keeps bringing up BravoCon, and they play the clip from BravoCon, and clearly Dorit was joking. So obviously there's more going on in regards to what Kyle is really mad about, or this is not a real fight. And I saw that Kyle recently said, I think it was at Bravo Fan Fest, where she says her and Dorit are in a better place. Of course you are. The season's over. The season's over. And again, remember, allegedly, this cast has been accused early years. The Fox Force flunkies have been accused of meeting right before the season and plotting whatever their storyline is going to be. So that's always in the back of my mind. But my thing is, if you're going to make up a storyline, at least make it believable, Kyle. At least make it believable. I'm not believing that the reason that you're mad at Dorit is because of BravoCon. Can we think of something else? Can we think of something better? And I think the reason why people are so Team Dorit is because everyone just does not like Kyle anymore, because we see just the fake inauthenticness that is her. She's fake, phony. What was it I call her? Fake, phony, and a fraud. You're a fraud. Fake, phony, and a fraud. Put it on a T-shirt. Okay, I'll do it. My T-shirt. Fake, phony, and a fraud. And we're going to spell phony with an F. Like an F-U. Fake, phony, and a fraud. I just like saying fraud. Oh, sorry. That felt good. Anyways. So they're going back and forth. And I'm not going to go through the nitty-gritty of the details of their relationship. But Dorit says she's not going to put up with this ish anymore from Kyle. We're glad. All right? She brings up that Kyle saying that Dorit exaggerated their friendship. And honestly, if I was going to believe anything, I would believe Dorit that would be hurtful to hear from someone that they exaggerated the friendship. But unless they planned that, okay. But I believe that would be hurtful to me if someone said, oh, they exaggerated a friendship when you thought that you were a lot closer. I thought that Dorit and Kyle were close. Sidebar, and this is not paid promo. They probably should pay me, but Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kong-Minkoff have their podcast, Humble Brag, and I've been, here and there. I don't get to listen to every episode, but this week I did get to listen to the episode that they did, and Cynthia watched the Beverly Hills episode and talked about it with Crystal, because Crystal says she can't watch it. She can't watch it yet. But Crystal has been a part of this stuff, and she says the Dorit and PK rumors were already out there. People, the entire group knew. But she also talked about the friendship dynamic amongst the women. She says that Kyle and Erika are actually very, very close, probably closer than her and Dorit. That's interesting. But she also felt like there is a closeness between Kyle and Dorit. She also says that Dorit is a completely different person. She's actually more likable off camera than when the camera goes on. Dorit is something else. We know. But I'm saying that for you guys to keep that in the back of your mind as we talk about this episode. Okay. Anyway, so Dorit and Kyle are having this back and forth conversation. And Dorit is definitely giving a different energy this season. She's definitely giving a more like aggressive, more like in your face. She's even giving the camera the middle finger. Buckle up. I have thoughts on that, okay? So again, Kyle brings up BravoCon. Again, not an excuse. Kyle says that Dorit said to certain people that when Kyle was crying that she turns the tears on. Was she lying? I get how that might be hurtful to you, but Dorit smiled at that. Because we all know it's true. You do turn the tears on. Literally, I was listening because I guess Peacock automatically went into the preview for last season. And they were playing the trailer for last season. And it was another trailer of Kyle running through it, crying. Girl. And, we didn't get to... do I have it here? I did want to talk about their taglines. I did do a separate video talking about the taglines for those that may have missed it. You can definitely check that out on my TikTok or here on Shorts. But I don't know do I have it here? Do I have it here? I do. I'm not going to pull it up, guys, because that's just a whole nother technical thing. But my favorite tagline from the season was, from the intro that they showed this week, was Dorit's. It was probably my favorite. She says, I might look like a doll, but don't wind me up. I thought that was cute and to the point, okay? And it definitely tells what we're going to get from Dorit this season. I would give this one a 9. I'm going to definitely give this a 9. How would you guys rate Dorit's tagline? I might look like a doll, but don't wind me up. The reason why I even brought up the taglines was because I thought of Kyle Richards' tagline, which I hate, and I think is ridiculous. She says, these hills have eyes and they're all staring at me. These hills have eyes and they're all staring at me. What? We should keep in mind that the housewives don't choose their own taglines. Yes, they might help and give different taglines that they're interested for the season, but they are surprised when the producers decide, okay, this is going to be your tagline. They don't get to say, like, this is my tagline. Garcel says, I've been in the game too long to play by someone else's rules. I mean, it's significant to what we're seeing from Garcel this season. I did do a separate video this morning because I had thoughts, because a lot of you were asking me about the interview clip that Erika Jayne had did in regards to Garcel and Sutton. And she's like, I wish they would show more of their lives. And I said, I find that so interesting because everything that you said about your life in the last couple of years was forced out of you. It was exposed in regards to your relationship with Tom and what he was doing. And honestly, if Garcel and Sutton didn't hold you accountable, we would have probably breezed over all of your legal troubles. And they really made those seasons really interesting, if I'm being honest. But Garcel says, I've been in the game too long to play by someone else's rule. I think it's solid. I think it's clever. It's not my favorite, though. It's not my favorite. So I'm going to give this I don't remember what I gave it before, so this is really authentic. I'm going to give this a 7. I felt like, no, I'm going to give it an 8. I feel like it's safe, but it's still clever. It's not my favorite, though. Speaking of not my favorite, Sutton Strack's tagline. Sutton says, I honor my fine Southern manners by putting you in your place. Again, clever, but not my favorite. It's just okay. Okay? It's just okay for me. I'm going to give this one a 7, okay? Speaking of Erika Jayne, Erika says, in Beverly Hills, money buys a lot, but my independence, priceless. I actually like this one, and it makes sense to her storyline. But here we go with the Beverly Hills references. I think this is good. I'm going to give this an 8.5. Bozoma, St. John. We got to know a lot more about Bozoma in this episode, which was very dynamic and very interesting. She also did an interview with Bethany Frankel a long time ago before even being considered for Beverly Hills. And I completely forgot that was her on Bethany's podcast. So if you missed that, you can hear that on Bethany's podcast, her interview with Bozoma. So Bozoma says, introducing the greatest product I've ever marketed, myself. I like it. It's a reference to her years of corporate America. I thought this was good. I'm going to give this a, dare I say, 8.5, but not 8.5. You know what I'm saying? All right. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Right? I got all of them. All right. Anyways, guys, we are talking about the newest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Where's my graphic for Beverly Hills? Hold on, y'all. Let me bring this up. Where's my graphic for? There we go. We're talking about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Be sure to let me know how you would rate the Housewives taglines as well in the live chat. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know as well. Don't forget to like the video. It's easy and it's free. So back to this fight between Dorit and Kyle. All right. So then Dorit says the real reason that she thinks that Kyle is upset with her is because of something that she said on Watch What Happens Live. So they play back what Dorit said on Watch What Happens Live, and she says, I feel like the closer Kyle got to Morgan, the more she withdrew from me. So Dorit believes that is an issue, that is the issue for Kyle, and may have caused an issue between Kyle and Morgan. I don't know if that's it either. I mean, especially with what Kyle is bringing up, if that was the issue, well, maybe the reason why Kyle doesn't want to say that's the issue because then she would have to mention Morgan's name. But now that Dorit said it, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle decides to use that as the real reason. You're right. That is the reason. Look, that is the reason I'm upset with you. Okay. Dorit says Grace time is over because Kyle says, I've had a really rough last 2 years. And look, she has, if it's real. She's like, I've had a rough last 2 years. I mean, you could give me some grace. You could give me some grace. She's like, Grace time is over. She says, Grace time is over. So Kyle decides to get up and walk away. I was like, okay, what's happening? It was like her running, from the fight at the table in Amsterdam. Anyway, so Kyle goes to her car. Garcel goes after her, and she says, Dorit's impossible to talk to. Garcel with always taking the digs at Dorit. And a lot of you, and for some reason, I'll get into this in a second. So Garcel says, well, I know that. In regards to it's impossible to speak to Dorit. Always with the digs. But I find it hilarious, to be honest with you, because from what I hear, again, from listening to Crystal's podcast, Crystal says, yeah, Dorit is long-winded. Cynthia Bailey, who knows Dorit as well, says, yeah, she really is long-winded. Can you imagine how long-winded Dorit has to be? We're watching an edited version of how long-winded Dorit is. Can you imagine in real life? And here's the thing. I don't think people mind if you're long-winded if you have something interesting to say. When someone says that you're long-winded, they're saying that you are talking a lot and you're saying a bunch of nothing that we want to hear. I talk to you guys for hours and you stay. Some might say that I'm long-winded, but no, you're interested in what I have to say. Some of you have come to my live shows and listened to me talk for like an hour. So for me, let's break down long-winded. Okay. Long-winded is more like you're boring and I don't want to hear the rest of what you have to say. So that's what they're saying. Theo says Dorit talks in circles. That's probably why they don't want to talk to her. So Dorit has a conversation with Erika in regards to her conversation with Kyle, and she's like, I wanted to have a real conversation. So Dorit in her confessional is like, I'm bigger, better, and stronger than I was 2 years ago. And then she gives the camera the middle finger. Here's the thing, guys. That is when, for those that watched this with me last night on TikTok, that's when I had an aha moment. All right. That's when I said to myself, oh, this is Dorit's hero moment. This is her, I coming out of the dark. You know what I mean? You remember Gloria Estefan, but Gloria Estefan really came out of the dark. I was like, is this the producers trying to give us this moment of, Dorit, she had the burglaries, she was dressing different. She had the PTSD. She was going through what she was going through. So this is the season where they said, you know what, don't be surprised if Dorit doesn't come back next season, especially if it doesn't land well for her. Because, there have been rumor after rumor every season that Dorit's not coming back. And there was a rumor that she wasn't coming back this season. Then word on the street, like, nope, this is going to be Dorit's season. She has a lot to answer for. And now I'm thinking to myself, in that moment, I was like, oh, are the producers playing with us? Or is this Dorit playing with us in regards to, oh, this is her coming out of this is her hero moment. Like, I am here. Oh, I thought the song Color Purple. I was about to sing it, but I'm not going to. Okay, especially with Cynthia Erivo going viral everywhere. Anyways, so I'm just thinking to my thing. I'm like, is this a real moment? Look, that remains to be seen. I'm going to try and stay open to that. Little Lisa says Dorit is trying to secure her place on the show. They always are. But I don't know. We shall see. And here's the thing. The reason why I don't believe Dorit in a lot of stuff that she says, because so many people have said that Dorit on the show versus off the show is very different. Literally, Crystal just said that this week. And we know that there have been a lot of stories about Dorit, her marriage, her finances, her lawsuits, that they haven't brought on the show. And it's like, what? Like, why are you able to get away with that season after season? But okay. So we have that confessional from Dorit. Dorit says, I'm bigger, better, and stronger. I don't know how to do Dorit's faux English American accent. I don't know how to do it, okay? And then she gives the camera the middle finger. So who is the real Dorit? Is Dorit the person that we've seen the last few seasons? Or is Dorit this person that's cussing out PK, making him feel less than a man, and giving the camera the middle finger? Who is the real Dorit? Will the real Dorit stand up? Just asking. Let's move on. Let's talk about badass Bozoma. Bozoma St. John. I am not going to even attempt to talk about or pronounce all of Bozoma's names, okay? So this is Bozoma being introduced to us in this moment, all right? Or Boz, as people call her, all right? Or Boz. There we go. Sorry, not Boz, all right? Cherie says, I commend you, Kempire, because you no longer repeat sentences over and over again like you used to. It's so much better listening to you now. Well, thank you, Cherie. We appreciate the constructive criticism. Okay. I love it when people come in here without an actual picture to show themselves. Then there's that. All right. Patricia says that isn't Dorit from New Jersey? No, she's from Connecticut. All right. So back to Boz's introduction to us. So first of all, we know that Boz has worked for companies like PepsiCo. She worked for Uber. She's worked for Netflix, and she worked as an executive. In some positions, she was a director and things like that. But at the top, she was a chief marketing executive for a lot of these companies. All right. And she says that she has retired. Okay? She says that she has retired. So she then, because we're at an event that she has, so we're getting to know a little bit more about her story. And there are certain things that stood out to me in her conversations. First of all, she said, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me how can they get into that corner office, I was like, oh. When she slipped and said, she said she would be a millionaire. She's like, but wait, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I said, there are a few moments in this episode alone that Boz showed us that she is that girl. And she came from, I don't know if she came from humble beginnings. You know, for the love of Mary Cosby, I don't want to assume that. But she at least came from the bottom of the corporate world and ended at the top, okay? So she slips in there that she's already a millionaire. I said, okay, Bozoma. Then she says, she then talks about how she got to where she got to and what she went through in regards to her husband. We got a little bit of that last week, but this week she talks a little bit more about the special relationship that she has with her daughter since her husband passed. She says when he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and died 3 months later, she says how that really changed who she is as a person. She says she went into a meeting and her boss at the time said to her, you haven't hit enough home runs. And here's the thing, because I know the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills audience, the white audience, feels a way when we talk about color. But you don't realize what it takes for a woman, a black woman, to achieve what Boz has been able to achieve in that world at that level. Okay? And pay attention to what she said. She says, her boss said to her, you haven't hit enough home runs. Right before that, she mentioned how she secured PepsiCo for the halftime show for the NFL, one of the most watched, if not the most watched, television event of the year. She secured that as the chief marketing officer for PepsiCo. Or the director. I don't remember if she was the chief there. But she secured that. And I said, okay, but she had a different perspective when she lost her husband. She said they brought her and her daughter together. They have a really special relationship because of that loss. And she talked about her relationship. She's like, she wanted her tall and dark, shining, a man with shining armor. However, she ended up with this guy that completely was the total opposite of what she probably would normally date. And she says that, he probably didn't have any black friends. So she talked about that dynamic in that relationship, but they really found each other and found a love with each other. And they're showing all the pictures. I was like, oh, that was a beautiful love story. But for me, it was when she talked about she built the ladder for a lot of these other companies. Now she's building a new ladder built by herself. And I said, I can relate so much to Bozoma. And no, I'm not a chief marketing officer, but you guys know I came from the corporate America, and I have friends in that world. A friend of mine, very similar to Bozoma, she said the same exact thing. She's like, I'm tired of making other people millionaires. Now is my time to make myself a millionaire. Okay? And then, I don't know. I look for signs in the universe. She has a sign, something that I've said to myself. I can't remember the exact words, so I'm just going to paraphrase. Oh my gosh, be so incredible that they can't ignore you. Something to that effect. She had that in like a nameplate in her home. But that's always sort of been my mantra because, and I've said this before, and I don't remember where I've said it. I don't know if it was during the Kempire After Dark live experiences, because I talk all the stuff, and I don't really mince words when I'm talking to people. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're going to feature me on your show. I don't care if you're going to do this for me or invite me here. I'm still going to speak my truth no matter what. And I've always said to myself, be so great that make it impossible for them to ignore you, which I continue to do. And that continues to be my mantra. So when I saw that in Bozoma, who's achieved what she's achieved and now is retired and enjoying her life, I said, yes. Look, yes. Yes. Okay? So I loved the scene. I love that she is spreading the word. Now she's in this space. Like, she didn't wait till she was like old and decrepit and she couldn't go out there and speak the message. No, she retired at an age where she's like, I can go out and spread the, give you the cheat codes to, and honestly, it's not even cheat codes. Give you the tools that I used. Okay. Let me say thank you because we did get a couple of super chats. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget you can also support the channel just by liking the video. We're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Tiny, sorry. Tiny, thank you for the super chat. Tiny says, happy early Thanksgiving, Kempire. Boo, you need to come to San Fran or Monterey, California. You got fans here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe next time. Look, booking a tour is not easy. We had to work some connections just to do our LA show. So if you got connects up there, maybe we'll do a show there next year. Next year's a few weeks away. Okay. Julie, thank you so much for the super chat. Julie says, trying to watch you and listen to Shannon on Jeff Lewis live, The Struggle. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bose is going to be fabulous with Jennifer Tilly. I'm loving Jennifer Tilly on the after show. We're not getting a lot of her so far in these first 2 episodes because she's a friend of the show, which is fine. But what I've seen on the after show, I'm like, I like Jennifer Tilly. Ariana, thank you so much for the super chat. Ariana says, as a 25-year-old in marketing, I'm so happy to see Bose on this show. I'd also like to know when she's hiring. I want to be her one day. So you saw the young lady at the workshop asked her that, are you hiring? I've gotten that question too at some of my shows. Look, eventually, she does have a brand. She does have like a hair brand or something like that she's coming out with. Well, no, I think it's already out there. So Bose knows what she's doing, all right? She's on this show. She knows she can market the show. But one thing I will say, I'm not saying this to Bose. I'm talking about the recent update in regards to Vanderpump Rules getting a complete reboot. It's going to be new staffers. Lisa Vanderpump, of course, will still be there. We did also hear that Schwartz, Lala, and Sheena will be moving over to the Valley. Okay? And then we also heard that Schwartz and Sandy's is closing at the end of next month. This is what I would tell anyone on reality television. Make sure that whatever brand that you're coming out with is sustainable, even if you're not on this reality show. Make sure that it's still sustainable. And look, we already know that Schwartz and Sandoval weren't the best when it comes to the business. We already saw that on the show. And also being in the realm of doing restaurants is hard. Restaurants open and close every single year here in New York City. So it's not an easy business, but they had a leg up. They had a platform where millions and millions of viewers could watch, and that was free promo. So just saying. Tiny, thank you so much for another super chat. Tiny says, I got connections here in Monterey. Let me see what I can do, and I'll hit your email. If Sonia Morgan can get a gig here, I know you can. Tiny, definitely let me know. My Instagram has my business email. No Sonia Morgan shade. I started rewatching, but I'm not going to watch it religiously. Season 1 of Real Housewives of New York. I haven't watched it in a long time, but that's the only city that I've watched multiple times, like from beginning to like season 10 or 11. Jack Love says, I'm not going to watch the new season of Vanderpump Rules. Rest in peace to that show. Nasser says, VPR went too far long and they shouldn't have gotten their exit strategy. They should have gotten their exit strategy together. Look, I will say this. The Scandival did very well for the network and did very well for everyone involved, including the talent. So, yes, they probably should have ended the season before, but it really helped people like Ariana. Ariana now has a sustainable income outside of the show. If anything, she's the only one that's walked away from this, besides Vanderpump, that is going to be okay financially, I believe. Everyone else, I think they're going to struggle. And something about her, I didn't go when I was in LA. Again, I think the success of that particular restaurant sandwich shop would only do well based off of the promo of the show. And they got a little bit of promo for the show. I don't know if that's going to be sustainable. Don't be surprised if in a year or two. I'm not wishing this on them. What I'm saying, business-wise, if we're being real, without that promo, I don't know how well it will do. Just saying. All right, moving along, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with a smattering of Vanderpump Rules mixed in there, because I'm not doing a separate video or live talking about Vanderpump Rules. All right, we're over. We're done. We're done. Okay, back to this. So we learned so much about Bozoma in that that portion of the episode, which was great. So Kyle and Sutton have drinks at this hotel. Okay, Sutton talks about how she had Botox in this area in the hotel, and she said it was for an Oscar party. Let me tell you something. If the tables were reversed and Sutton said to Kyle, "How long ago was that?" Almost insinuating like, I can't tell that you had Botox. She's like, how long? If the tables were reversed, we would be hearing about this all season long from Kyle. She hurt my feelings. I'm going through a lot. You know, my husband is moving on. I'm feeling a certain way, and she made a dig at me. Okay. Look, okay, Kyle. Okay, Kyle. All right. Anyways. Sutton, in response to the producers asked, you know, because Sutton and Kyle had their issues over the last year, and now they've sort of resolved their issues. And Kyle said in the after show, well, you know, she told me off camera and on camera, you know, that she wanted, that she was sorry and that she genuinely wanted to be friends. So she really believes Sutton. All right. The producer asked Sutton, so how did you get to the place of trusting Kyle again? She says, who said I trust her? So Kyle, because Sutton is concerned about Kyle. All right. So Sutton says to Kyle, like, what's going on when it comes to her and Mauricio's marriage? Like, are you preparing yourself? She's insinuating, like, are you guys going to file for divorce? What's happening? Okay. Then Kyle says that, you know, everything with her and Mauricio is 50-50. And I said, my ears perked up. I was like, and she's like, I have 50, you know, we're 50-50 with the agency as well. I'm thinking like, so he has you down on the paperwork like you're a co-owner of the agency. No, Kyle fixes her mouth to say that she, because he said it, he always says it, and because it's in their book. Oh my God. It's in his book. In his book, he says, you know, I couldn't have the agency without Kyle. Dorit's like, girl, the forensic attorneys or forensic accountants are going to burn that book up if you bring that book to them. That is not a way of proving that you're going to get that in the end. All right? And Sutton says something like, men, what I've learned in my experience with separation and divorce is that men do not like parting with their money. We need to do a new version of Steel Magnolias. And editors, do a Steel Magnolias, please. Okay. That way we can see Sutton in it, all right? She's like, what I've learned is that men do not like parting with their money. So she then advises Kyle, I think you should file for divorce first. And she's giving, look, first of all, I feel like Sutton is not just teaching Kyle in this situation. She's teaching all of people that might be going through something like this. Teddy Mellencamp. She's like, file for divorce first because everything from the time you file on is yours. And I was like, I never thought about that. I thought it was maybe afterwards, but every state is different. And I said, that makes sense now. So Kyle's a little taken aback because Kyle's like, no, you know, I haven't gotten that far. Honestly, do you guys think that Kyle is going to file for divorce? I don't know what it is when it comes to the Kyle storyline. As I said to you guys before, I don't know if I 100% believe it. But some of us have speculated that maybe the reason why she's held off from getting a divorce is because there is a lot of money. When they came together, they really didn't have a lot, despite what Kathy says. Kathy says you brought more to the table. She probably did. Big Kathy probably, I don't know. Big Kathy was, you know, if you read the book, look, maybe Big Kathy left them a little something before passing. Okay? Hold on. I did see a comment that I wanted to highlight. Where is it? Oh, damn it. I lost it. Anyways, it was about Lisa from Real Housewives of Miami. I did see the update in regards to Lisa finally finalizing her divorce. I did see her settlement. She's not doing too bad. I think like $15,000 a month in child support or something like that. So she's not doing too bad. I don't know if that's enough, but they've been dealing with their stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking more about that when we recap Real Housewives of Miami. They're still filming. So I'm sure they're supposed to be wrapping filming soon. We're not going to get that till next year. All right. Anyways, so if I'm going to take advice from anyone in regards to a divorce, I'm going to pick the brain of Sutton. And if this divorce relationship situation is real, I might not want to talk about it on camera because I don't want him to know my next move. Okay. However, I'm going to listen to Sutton. Sutton came out of her divorce with a baseball team, property. She came out with a settlement, and she's getting $350,000 a month after taxes. After taxes. And she slipped that in during Watch What Happens Live. Drama says that $15K a month is low. She needs Sutton's lawyers. Maybe. But again, every state is different. Remember, they're in Florida. It's very different in Florida when it comes to stuff like this. But if I'm going to listen to someone, I'm going to listen to Sutton when it comes to a divorce. Okay? But Kyle, if I'm just going to go by what she's showing us on the show, seems very naive. And honestly, Sutton's just like, well, yeah, things are good now. But when you're getting a divorce, do you really think that Mauricio is going to give you half of the agency? No, he's not. No, he's not. But okay. In another scene, we go to one of Boz's beautiful homes. Boz. Sorry, I'm going to get it by the end of the season. Boz. That's why I keep calling it Bozoma. I'm going to just call it Bozoma. All right. Boz, Dorit, and Erika hang at Boz's house, okay? She's in Erika's neighborhood. Erika's very excited about that. She asked the ladies to take off her shoes. And if you are of Caribbean descent, if you're black, if you're Hispanic, then you can relate to someone asking you to take your shoes off before you come in. But these ladies are not used to it. They're traipsing their dirty heels throughout their entire house. Gross. But, Doris was like, this is really part of the outfit, but I'll do it for Boz. Okay. So here's the thing. Another little humble brag from Bozoma. She mentions that I had just seen Sutton, but the editors show us Boz's home, Malibu home. So it was a different home from the home that we have here that they're currently in. Okay, yesterday we did a special live for members only where we went through Andy Cohen's home that he has for sale here in New York City. We go through it. We have all kinds of conversations. So if you missed it, go check it out. Become a member today. And he has very eccentric style. I also think Bozoma has eccentric style, but it works. It works. It's a fabulous, beautiful home. But I was like, oh, she has another home? Okay, excuse me. She's got a Malibu home. I got to go to Malibu very briefly while I was in Los Angeles. And I was like, oh, this is so pretty over here. I went to Point Doom. I know, not a great place to go. But it was, when the name, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful over there. All right. Anyways, so they end up catching up into regards to what's going on. And Dorit talks about her issues with Kyle. And she says Kyle keeps changing what she's mad about. And I agree with Dorit. All right? And that's when the editors show us Grievance 1, Grievance 2, Grievance 3 in regards to all of Kyle's issues. And based on all the grievances that we saw, I was like, Kyle, you have no real reason to be mad. You have no reason to be mad. Mr. Melon Magic says, would you buy Andy's house? If I had $14 million? Nope. If I have $14 million, I'm not spending it. Look, and Andy has a nice home, but if you watched our members only live, I explained to you what I like, what I didn't like, what would work for me. if I'm going to spend $14 million, especially here in New York City, there's plenty of other things that we could get. There's plenty of other things that we could get. Oh, I didn't know this is the Girls Club Incorporated. Hold on, let me bring this comment up. It says, Kempire, Boz is an ambassador for her home country of Ghana. She's there regularly networking with the president and dignitaries. So she's just amazing. She probably has a home there too. Oh, I can see that. Oh, I used to have an attorney that's from Ghana too. You guys in Ghana are beautiful people. Because my former attorney is gorgeous too. Okay, and they have beautiful smiles. Look, every country is beautiful in their own way, but I'm just saying, like, oh, okay. It made more sense to me. I was like, okay. Okay. So that's what Dorit says. Erika says that she can see both sides. Not Erika twerking on a fence, okay? Erika says that she can see both sides. And then Erika brings up a very valuable point. Erika says they're both Dorit and Kyle are having their, going through a separation, and they're arguing with each other. And PK, single PK, and Mauricio are having the best time of their lives. And I said, that is a perspective to have. That is a real perspective to have. And that's what I always say. When you're busy sitting over here being mad at your friend or whatever, you realize that that friend is over there living their best life with your money. I'm just saying if you loan them money or something. So just kind of keep those things in mind. And I was like, that's an interesting perspective, Erika. I appreciated it. Okay? Hope you start showing your real life on your own without people having to expose it. Sidebar, Erika. Literally, as I was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and they show Bet It on Blonde, the option, because you watched Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I was like, ain't nobody even talk about Bet It on Blonde. When it came out, they were like, oh, here we go, and I was just like, ain't nobody talk about it since. I was like, Erika, you need to worry about what's going on over here in regards to your own storyline and brand, and the fact that you don't have Tom Girardi buying people to like your music anymore. And she's still talking about, I'm working on new music. Ain't nobody looking for new music from you. Maybe a couple of gay men. That's about it. All right? Ain't nobody looking for, no one in the industry takes your music seriously. Okay? No. And Tom can't buy people to be like, yes, we love it. Let's figure out something else. Wasn't she doing something else? Wasn't she selling hair? What happened with that? Hey, Natalie. N-Dub says, Erika Jayne looks good in her confessional. She does. She looks gorgeous. She looks gorgeous even outside of her confessionals. Her confessionals are definitely gorgeous, though. Exactly. Lexi says, nobody bet on Blonde. Oh, Theo says, Bet It on Blonde was a 2-episode affair that not even the gays hyped up. Yeah, because Tom Girardi wasn't there to give them the dollars to like it. All right. Anyways. Theo was, it's expensive to be fake. Anyways, that's a good song, though. I will give that. Okay, not a good song. That is a good chorus. I don't know how the rest of the chorus of the song goes. That's the only part of the song that I know. Okay? Allegedly. All right. Okay. So they talk about her issues with Kyle, and Erika explains what she thinks. Then they ask for an update on what's going on with her and PK. All right. And she gives the update on what's been going on and how she's not told the children yet. And then she reveals that, there are times when they've had arguments and PK will leave months at a time or weeks at a time. And Erika's just like, I'm so sorry that she had to be suffering in silence like this, but I can relate. Okay. Here's the thing. And that's the reason why she doesn't want to tell the kids, because she's like, the kids are used to him not being home. But that's the thing. Like, Erika, you're telling people that you wish that Garcel and Sutton would show more of their lives, how about you say that to your friend Dorit? Dorit, in this season alone, in episode 2, is talking about the bankruptcy, his drinking issues, how he goes, when they've had arguments, he's gone for months at a time. Where was this the last how many seasons that Dorit's been on here? Before you come for Garcel and Sutton about sharing their real lives, and you also said in that interview that you don't know of anything in particular that they're holding back. You just wish that they would show more of their lives. So, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Just because you don't have a storyline doesn't necessarily make you boring. What makes you boring is if you are not a good reality TV star, that you have no personality. One thing I will say about Sutton and Garcel, they have personality. So if they didn't have a storyline, I'm okay with it because they are interesting. From their confessionals to holding people accountable in the moment. Because I know the audience is like, someone say something that I feel in this moment because everyone else on here is fake, phony, and a fraud. Fake, phony, and a fraud. I say this all the time. You don't have to have a storyline if you're an interesting person. And Dorit has held back in regards to her story, her real story, for years. So excuse me if I don't believe what she's giving us this season. So she says the kids, they don't see the difference because, this happens with PK. He'll leave weeks at a time. So he's away from his kids for weeks at a time. And you're okay with that? You're okay with your father of your children being away from your first of all, you being a single parent, basically, for weeks at a time without PK. And look, there have been rumors that PK and Dorit have been living separate lives for years. Exactly. Miss Brooklyn points out a good fact, and I said this in my video. Not everyone's lives are full of drama. And I'm okay with not watching someone on this cast not having a life full of drama and chaos. Some of these fans, they're like, I didn't see any lie in regards to what Erika was saying. Oh, because you want to see someone's life falling apart? Sutton and Garcel have talked about their lives falling apart. They're in a sweet spot in their lives right now. Garcel's career is doing well. And Sutton's finances are doing well. It's not all about money, though. It's not all about money. Let's move on because there's so much more that I want to talk about. When it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts on this week's episode as well. Okay? All right. Where do I want to go from here? So in regards to a possible reconciliation between Dorit and PK, both asked her that, and she's like, it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible not to reconcile. I don't get deep love from PK and Dorit. There's something just inauthentic about whatever this is. I'm not fooled, but I get it. Some of you do believe it. That's fine. I don't. I feel like there is something missing from everyone's story in regards to Kyle and Mauricio and Dorit and PK. And that's my thought, my opinion. All right. We're going to move on. Let's move on to Sutton, Erika, and Kathy. So, and here's why Sutton's a good friend. Because she's like, I remember during my separation, I felt very lonely. So she wants to do this plan. Her, Erika, and Kathy are going to go over to Kyle and surprise her with a pizza and pajama party. Pizza and PJs. So we get to see Kathy. Here's the thing with Kathy. I know some people feel like Kathy puts it on. I don't think so. I think this is really who Kathy is. Quirky, funny, based on what people have said about her and based on what we've seen, it doesn't give fake and fraud, fake, phony, and fraud like her sister. Okay? So she comes over and she's checking all the things. We see Avi, love Avi. We love Avi and Sutton's banter together. But this is when Sutton brings up, when the ladies come over. Did you guys notice, what's her name? Erika's cat sweater. Are you trying to look like Sutton now? I thought you wanted her to show more of her story. Because that was like a big thing, her cat sweater. Sutton's cat sweater. I just noticed it in the second watch that I did. Anyway, Sutton brings up the fact that Mauricio, in his office, changed the photo of him and Kyle to a photo of him and his Dancing with the Stars partner. Okay, let's pretend that it's real. Why would Mauricio do that? Let's pretend that it's real. Why would Mauricio do that? Honestly, I don't believe it. Do I believe that he did it? Possibly. However, why would he? And mind you, we find out when they were over at Kyle's house that he moved out. So why did he change the photo in there to him and someone else? I can understand maybe he wouldn't want to look at a picture of him and Kyle in better days. If it's true, it's definitely horrendous and disrespectful. But allegedly, he's been disrespectful in their marriage for years. However, I heard this and I said to myself, and I was like, so this feels a little put on. This feels a little put on. Exactly. Aqua Girl says, if it happened. I don't know. We never saw it. Look, we never saw it. Did they show a picture of it? We didn't see that. We saw the picture of her and Kyle together in there, but we didn't see the replacement. And if he moved out, why did he replace the photo? I'm just asking the questions, guys. This is my review. If you feel, what's Mauricio's sign? Nasser says it was a petty move. I wonder. I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible, but I don't know. And if he did do it, I think she told him to do it to make it, so she had a reason to be mad. Sage says it's a scheme that Todd set up. Exactly. Dee says, disrespecting their marriage since season 1. All right. Irene says, you can't live in my space and play in my face like that, Mo. Teresa says, I believe it and I don't blame him. If this really happened, it definitely was disrespectful. It's definitely disrespectful, especially because there were rumors that Mauricio and the Dancing with the Stars person hooked up. Here's the thing. There's always rumors about that. Do I believe it happened? Yes, of course. DB says, because Kyle has a pic with her and scissoring. We're going to be scissoring. Anyways, moving on. So Kyle is at home. She has that separate scene where she's like laying in the bed. Sophia calls her. She's not coming home for dinner. So she's like, I hope this is not going to be my life for, the house is a lot more quiet now. So she's laying in the big bed by herself. Whoa, 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 Kyle. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, look, I really do feel bad. If this is true, I do feel bad. And I think a lot of people that go through this in regards to a separation, a divorce, or just the whole, your kids are getting older and they're moving out. So some of you can relate to that loneliness. So I'm not going to say that's not real. That's probably the realest that we got from Kyle. So Kyle is making dinner with Portia when she gets a buzz at the door. In the car, in preparation, Kathy has to get in character because she's going to pretend to be the Amazon guy. Because they're like, she'll open the door because she's always getting Amazon deliveries, Kyle. And she's so Kathy's in the car preparing herself. Amazon. Amazon. Okay. So they're like, this is not going to work. And then she describes a UPS guy and she's like, oh, wait, no, that's UPS. Again, for me, this scene was made because of Kathy. Like these little quirky, funny things that Kathy was doing. And I do believe that Kathy does feel like a protector of her little sister. I do think that Kathy's probably has that dark side to her too in regards to, what's Kathy's sign? I'm sure I've asked this before. I just want to know. But I can see that dark side of Kathy as well. But I can see that Kathy does genuinely love her sister. I think she just has a weird way of showing it. Doesn't make it right, but I definitely think she has a weird. I think her daughters probably could attest to that, and I'm sure she looks at Kyle as like a daughter. Gigi says I don't feel. Gigi says I don't feel bad for Kyle either. Damn. Anyway, yeah, the girls' club says that scene was really cute. It was cute. It was like my favorite scene of the episode. So they sneak over and they surprise Kyle with this pizza party. And Kyle's running after her dogs, not realizing that it's them at the door. It was cute. I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was great of Sutton to even do it. They're making pizzas together. But before that, they sit down to eat the pizza, and Kathy's like, "Where's Garcel?" And Sutton they flash back to a scene where Sutton was FaceTiming with Garcel. Garcel was filming Black Girl Missing. I thought it was funny, though. Sutton says to her, "You lost another black girl." She's like, "What kind of mother are you?" Oh, perfect. I figured that Kathy was a Pisces, Antoinette. It was in my head, and I was like, I think so. So Kathy's a Pisces, so that tracks. That tracks. The sensitive side to her, the protective side to her, but also that dark side. You know what I'm talking about, Pisces. Okay? All right? Anyways, so I thought that was a cute, funny scene. But here's the thing. Here's the thought that I had. Garcel, I'm concerned. I'm concerned, Garcel. Because I remember when Candy was too booked and busy to be on this show. Fast forward another season later, she was gone. I love Garcel on the show. I don't care what anyone else says. I love her on the show. But I do see all the success and all the jobs that she's gotten, and it's not just Lifetime jobs. She's on Hulu. She's on Netflix. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and now she's too busy to film this show. And I already see in her future maybe a daytime talk show. Garcel, we got to figure out our exit strategy. Don't let them kick you off. Let's figure out our exit strategy. I will miss you on the show, but let's figure out our exit strategy. You're too big for the show anyway, Garcel. Let's be honest, fancy. You've done so much in your life and your career. And look, there was a little bit of a lull. I wouldn't even say there was much of a lull. There was a little bit of a lull. And now your stock is back up. And I see your stock only continuing to grow. Okay, so, and look, and I don't think it's just because she's on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think she's just talented and she's doing what she needs to do. End up says there's a lot of Garcel haters online, but there's also a lot of people that love Garcel on the show. But I do see it. I do see a lot of the Bravo universe saying that she race baited this cast. I wonder where that started. Y'all just uncomfortable talking about race, but y'all see time after time examples of how racism still exists, but y'all not ready to talk about it. Okay. All right. But either way, I don't think this should be the end-all, be-all for Garcel regardless, because I think she is very talented. I think she has a lot of opportunities. I can see Garcel. I keep telling you, I want to see her bring back her podcast, In Bed with Garcel. I want to see her continue to act. But I also think she'd be an amazing daytime talk show host. There's plenty of people on daytime that should not be. Actually, far more that are on that should not be. I can count on one hand the people that should be, in my opinion. But daytime talk is not what it used to be. Shout out to Wendy Williams. Shout out to Oprah. Shout out to Phil Donahue. Shout out to Geraldo. Shout out to Ricky Lake. Okay. Shout out to Jenny Jones. Shout out to The View. Okay. I know some of you are like, well, shout out to The Talk. No, I never liked The Talk. Wait. And I know Garcel was on it. That's when they were good. Honestly, that's where I know Garcel would have been great she was great on The Talk. But when The Talk first started, I was like, but Garcel was actually really good on not The Talk, The Real. Oh, The Talk. No, I've never been a fan of The Talk. The Real I'm talking about. Anyways. All right. Moving on. Moving on. So they have their good time at this pizza and PJ situation, all right? Anyways, they end up talking about Mauricio and what Kyle's been going through with Mauricio. And she, Kathy as a big sister, because they're going through this separation, but Kyle's in a good place with Mauricio. But Kathy's just like, you look like a little girl in comparison to him. Oh, you're right. Cindy says, you forgot Jerry Springer. Oh, may he rest in peace, too. Jerry Springer. I mean, look, it was a time. It wasn't great television, but, it was great television for what it was, okay? I'm not going to act as if I never watched Jerry Springer, okay? Richard Bay. Richard Bay was similar to Jerry Springer, too, okay? Anyways, so they talk about Mauricio. Kathy, takes some digs at Mauricio. Like a big sister, she's trying to be a good big sister and trying to downplay, like, he's not great. He's doing like the pumping. And, Kathy words. So Kyle's like, he's posting these Instagram stories that he's in the gym. And she's like, I don't like it, but he's in the gym. He's living his best single life. Aren't you the one who asked for the separation? Like, let's get this together. Let's get this together. Like, aren't you the one that asked Mauricio for the separation? Am I confused here? So if he wants to get his fitness on after he lost a little weight, sidebar, when I was watching the after show, Garcel shaded Mauricio's dancing on Dancing with the Stars. This is why Garcel is necessary. She's just naturally funny. All right? Anyways, Sally Jesse Raphael as well. I love how you guys are remembering all the greats. Regis Philbin and Kathy Lee Griffith. All right. It was a time. We had a time when some really great. Shout out to Ananda. She had a great daytime talk show. Tyra had a great daytime talk show. Queen Latifah twice had a great daytime talk show. I didn't watch Dancing with Stars, so I don't know what Mauricio looked like on there. All right. Well, anyways, then Kathy then brings up Mauricio talking about, she's like, I'm hearing from people that he's always talking about Hilton and Highland. And she only had 2 words for him: move on. Oh, I was like, I wasn't ready for that. But they've had their issues. That has caused issues between Kyle and her sister because of Mauricio leaving Hilton and Highland. And as you know, his now canceled Netflix reality show, Buying Beverly Hills, they talked about it there. And the Hiltons did not like that. Yeah, Tempest Bledsoe from Cosby Show. She did have a daytime talk show for a hot second, but I said good daytime talk shows. Okay. Rolanda Watts. Yes, I almost forgot about Rolanda. She was in my mind. Rolanda Watts, who was a news anchor, then had a daytime talk show. If you're watching the replay of this, let us know what was your favorite daytime talk show from back in the day. Anyways, we did a story yesterday talking about Wendy Williams and her allegedly being permanently incapacitated. And I said to myself, I hope that someone somewhere does something special honoring Wendy Williams and her legacy from radio to daytime talk. Rosie O'Donnell. How did I forget about Rosie O'Donnell? Rosie O'Donnell, I used to love watching her show. That was a very different type of show. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope that they will do something in honor of Wendy Williams and her career, just because it's such a sad way for it to come to such a screeching halt. All right. I'm taking a lot of sidebars today, but if you've been a fan of the channel, then we do this. We do this. All right? All right. Let me see. What else was talked about in this scene? Kathy says to Kyle that you need to make sure that you're protected because you came to the table with a lot. It makes me wonder, because remember, we thought that they both kind of came. I mean, maybe she came to the table with way more than Mauricio. Probably still wasn't a lot, but they built a lot together. And maybe Mauricio doesn't want to divorce Kyle because maybe I wouldn't be surprised that they both have spoken to divorce attorneys, but they don't want to say it on camera. They'll probably say it next season to drag this out a little bit more. All right? Jazz said, you forgot about the Bethany Frankel show. Was that on for 2 seasons? I don't even know how it lasted that long. Okay? Anyways, so Sutton then talked about, not getting the text messages for Mother's Day or the flowers and things like that anymore for Mother's Day. And Erika says something really interesting because Crystal on her podcast had a perspective on Erika that I thought was interesting. Again, another person that's different off camera versus how she presents herself on camera. Okay? You're right. The Osmonds had a... Brandy said, Jared Osmond. Have we really done that now to the Osmonds? Jared Osmond's uncle and auntie also had a daytime talk show. I don't know about good daytime talk show. Exactly. Elsie says, Kempire said good talk shows. Y'all just been naming all the talk shows, okay? She said Jared's uncle and auntie. Donnie and Marie, okay. Y'all are a mess. Okay. I thought it was interesting, though, when Sutton says to, says to the group about, not the text messages or the flowers anymore, and Erika brings up, but you're getting $350,000 a month. She didn't say the price, but she's like, you're getting a nice money. It just shows you what Erika values in life. And that was something that Crystal said on the podcast in regards to how Erika presents in the world. Like, she's very superficial. She didn't use these words, but she's very superficial in that way. And Sutton, and this is why Sutton attracted the money that she has, because it's not that important to her. It's nice to have, but it's not end all be all for her. And that's a lesson for all of us, for those that are like, oh, I wish I had this, or you're going to keep wishing, because that's the energy that you're putting out there. Someone said, Dr. Phil. We don't talk about Dr. Phil anymore. Okay? But it just said to me a lot more about Erika's character. And like I said, for me, it's a life lesson for all of us, that you see the difference on who attracts just abundance is because it's not that important to her. She's just like, it comes to me. Erika probably had to, claw to get everything that she has and continue to have what she has. So for me, that's what I got from that. So let's talk about this final scene. But before we talk about this final scene, guys, we have almost 1,000 of you watching on YouTube alone. Quite a few of you watching on Twitch and Twitter. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It is a subscribers-only live chat. All right? Oh, I forgot about Ellen. Oh, damn. Ellen moved out of the country, y'all. I used to like Ellen's talk show. I didn't watch it chapter and verse like I used to watch Rosie O'Donnell, but I would watch some interviews here and there. But I wouldn't say that I watched Ellen every single day like I used to watch some of these other shows. But she did have a good run, too. She did have a good run. All right. Let me take a sip. Let me drop the call and link for our members first. Live chat. Let's get to 300 likes, and I'll drop the call link for you guys, even though we have over almost 1,000 of you in the building. But let me just drop the call and link for our members first. Please hold. Let's go here. And don't forget, guys, you can hear the Kempire podcast version of this live recap on the Kempire podcast, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Make sure that you subscribe, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review. We're trying to get to 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Okay, let me just drop this here. And don't forget, the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London on December 8th. And then we will be in Washington, D.C. on January 24th. And then New York City early next year. Stay tuned for that information. Make sure you get your tickets today. More information will be available in the description. All right, so if you're a member of the channel, we've already dropped the call link for you guys on the community tab here on YouTube. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. All right. Beautiful Gem says that she moved to London to escape Trump policies. Yeah, that's what I heard in regards to Ellen DeGeneres, her and her wife, Portia. All right. Let me get to this PK and Dorit's final scene. They close out the scene. And I will say this. I don't need any more scenes with PK and Dorit. They're not interesting to me. I much rather hear her talk about her situation with PK. I don't care. Look, I don't care about these scenes. I don't know if they're even real, to be honest with you. But we will talk about it. So they sit down. Here's the thing that disturbed me. If PK is dealing with alcoholism and he's fresh into his sobriety, I don't know if I would have a drink in front of him. Anyone else? And she's like, "Oh, do you mind if I have a drink?" You're okay with me having, before he even gets the answer out of his mouth. Before he even gets the answer out of his mouth. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, he's fresh into his sobriety at this particular point. So they end up having a conversation about where they're at in their relationship, and he describes himself. She's talking about his outfit, and she's like, "Yeah, this is single PK," and she's like, "I don't think he knows how hurtful that is." No, tell us, Dorit. How hurtful is it? He says, he doesn't like the way that they talk to each other. If they talk to the waiter the way that they talk to each other, they would get kicked out of this restaurant. And I said to myself, we've never seen you guys. I mean, we've seen PK be a little with Dorit, but for the most part, we've never seen these two talk any kind of crazy way to each other. And I said to myself, and look, not a lot of people put on for the camera and they don't show anything. Then all of a sudden their marriage blows up and we're like, when did that happen? I just feel like there's just so much fakery when it comes to Dorit that it's hard to believe when there's actually a real moment happening, in my opinion. Virgilian says PK's been single. Miss Brooklyn says at the end of last year, even when he was trying to surprise her, Miss Brooklyn says the end of last year, some of his frustrations were showing. Mind you, if anything, that is the time for him to be a little bit more understanding because they had the burglary. But he didn't believe this whole PTSD thing. I mean, the audience and Garcel didn't either. Just saying. I'm just saying what you guys said. I'm repeating it. But he says that the way that they talk to each other is just really, really nasty. I wonder who did she say who asked for the separation? It seemed as if it was PK that asked for the separation. He says that he misses the woman that he first started dating and was married to. We have to remember Dorit is probably very much a different person now. She's a mother. She's not traveling all around the country with him. Like, although her life has stopped, his hasn't. And I'm not saying her life has changed. His lifestyle has not changed despite him having kids, which to me makes me look at PK. First of all, you're gone for weeks at a time. It's not like you don't have 2 kids and a wife. So I'm kind of looking at you with a side eye. Again, I'm Team Dorit on this one. If this is real. You're away because you guys have an issue. You leave your children for weeks at a time. Because keep in mind, some people are like, oh, well, no, Kempire, he's down the street at the whole. No, we've seen him. Rumors were saying that he was in London for weeks and weeks at a time. He was in London when the burglary happened. So, just saying. So he airs out his grievances, saying he doesn't like the way that they talk to each other. He doesn't like the way that she talks to him. He misses the way that they were when they first started dating. And he's just like, we've got to do better in regards to that. Then Dorit reveals that they talk 5 times a day. And he was like, well, that's going to change. He said, well, we aren't going to. So Dorit's like, huh? He says this codependency has to end. So I'm still trying to understand what was the root of the separation. Yes, he seemed as if he had quit drinking for her and they were doing better. Philly Jones says PK's car is nice. It is nice. Is it his car? I mean, that remains to be seen. PK's money's funny. Their home is in pre-foreclosure, the one that we see on this show. I mean, there were rumors that they didn't even own this place. So I don't know. Okay. Beauty Stick says, in all fairness, PK has family and business here in London. He also has 2 little children in Los Angeles. Okay. So, and the way she's making it seem is that he would leave for weeks at a time after they've had an argument. I'm trying to understand. So what is it? Is it because he's going there for family and friends, or is he going there because the fight? Like, what's the truth? Julie, thank you so much for the super chat. Julie says, Shannon, great on Jeff. We don't care. PK equals ass, but Dorit. No, I don't understand, Julie, what you were trying to say here, but thank you for the super chat. Loretta, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate the support, and thank you so much for being a member as well, guys. Don't forget to like the video. That's an easy and free way of showing your support. We're also going to drop the call link for the general audience, but keep liking the video because it's easy and it's free. Kay says that he has kids in the UK too. Okay, but again, that is not the excuse that they're using here. They're saying when they've had fights and arguments that he would leave for weeks at a time. Okay? Exactly. Then people say, how old are the kids that he has in the UK? I'm pretty sure they're probably not minors. Just saying. Anyways. Irene says that PK still wants to party. Dorit wants to stay home at night with her children. Why don't you get that, PK? If that's real. All right? If that's real. Hey, Loretta says, I love my Kempire time. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Sunflower says he has another, he has other women. No man is going to leave for weeks without a side piece. Just saying. Sunflower says it's obvious he has another woman. Okay. I guess we'll have to wait and see if that other woman ever comes out. All right, let me get to some callers, guys, because I have to go shortly. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. If you're watching the replay of this, be sure to let us know where you're watching from. Happy Thanksgiving, and also your thoughts and ratings on this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Live chat, let me know how you would rate this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.